A blast tears through the night, metal crumpling, blood spilling onto the pavement. Nora Bennett, a 24-year-old server, heart racing, rushes out of a Seattle diner. Fear surges, but she doesn't stop. Hands trembling, she drops to her knees beside an unconscious man on Fremont Street. His breath comes in wisps. "Hey, are you still with me?" she shouts, panic twisting her gut, tearing her rag to press against the gaping wound. Exhausted after a long shift, she still dials 911, voice catching. "Hurry, he's slipping away." She whispers to the stranger, "Don't give up. I'm here." In this life and death moment, Nora has no idea her actions will change everything. Can a drop of blood link two destinies? Can a stranger become the fate of your life? All right, my dear audience, get ready for a story that will leave you breathless. Take a second to like this video and subscribe, but only if you truly feel what I'm sharing here. And leave a comment below telling me where you're watching from and what time it is. It's always exciting to see people joining us from all around the world. Nora Bennett grips the stretcher rail. Her feet skid on the slick ambulance floor. Her resolve ironclad, she will not relinquish this stranger. The siren screams through Seattle's streets, drowning out her pounding heart. Fatigue from her long shift weighs heavily, yet a deeper fear, one rooted in her past, surges stronger. A tense medic shouts above the beeping monitors, "He's O negative. Supplies are nearly exhausted." Nora's hands tremble as an electric shock shoots down her spine. She inhales sharply, voice small but unwavering. "I'm O negative too." The medic's skeptical gaze sweeps over her slight frame, just 43 kilograms, below the safe donation threshold. Nora's heart clenches, not at their doubt, but at a razor-sharp memory tearing through her mind. She cannot forget. At 17, Nora stood frozen in a hospital corridor before the blood donation room. Her sister Emily lay motionless after a car crash, urgently needing blood. But Nora, then just a frightened girl, feared the needle, feared pain, and feared unknown risks. She turned away, leaving Emily's blood undonated. That night, Emily died, and with her, a piece of Nora's soul vanished. That guilt, like a shadow, haunted her every day and night, invading her dreams. Each time she closed her eyes, she saw Emily's radiant summer smile fade into darkness. "Not this time," Nora vowed, clenching her fist until her fingernails bit into her palm. She would not let this stranger with weakening breath share her sister's fate. The medic hesitates, warning that her fragile body could be endangered. But Nora does not waver. Her eyes lock on the man's pale face under the flickering lights. Blood soaks the gauze around his head. Each drop urges her on. "I don't care about the risk," she declares, voice breaking. Not to them, but to herself. The fear still coils around her like barbed wire, yet this time she chooses to sever it. She will not run. She will not let another life slip away because her heart falters. The Harborview doctor, after a long, measured glance, nods reluctantly. They will draw only a small amount, under strict vital sign monitoring. Nora nods without hesitation, even as memories and dread swirl in her mind. As the needle pierces her skin, a sharp pain radiates. Nora closes her eyes, letting Emily's image enfold her thoughts. Emily's smile, her gentle voice recounting jokes, all felt achingly vivid. She feels her blood flow out, each drop an act of redemption, a chance to make amends. Her cold hand finds the stranger's on the stretcher. His fingers lie still, but she squeezes gently, as if she could transfer her will to live. "I won't let you go," she whispers, voice trembling but resolute. A promise not only to him, but to Emily, and to the younger Nora herself. Each beep of the monitor becomes a heartbeat of hope, pulling her from the abyss of guilt. The blood flows slowly, carrying pain and liberation. Nora feels lighter, not merely from the loss of blood, but because the burden in her heart, even for a moment, has eased. She does not know this man's name, but in that instant, he becomes the opportunity for her to confront her past, to prove that she can be brave, that she can save someone. When the needle withdraws, she lies back, mind hazy, but for the first time in years, her heart beats to a new rhythm, the rhythm of forgiveness, of hope, of a Nora no longer fleeing. James Harper opens his eyes in Harborview's VIP recovery suite. A stabbing pain radiates from his fractured ribs to his skull, pulling him back from 4 days of unconscious darkness. His awareness flickers, but a gentle female voice, "I'm here," echoes in his mind, a fragile lifeline tethering him to life. His head spins, not from injury, but from the faint memory of a warm hand, a presence asking nothing more than that he keep breathing. The weary nurse recounts the story that tightens James's chest. A young woman called 911, rode with him in the ambulance, and donated her rare blood to save him. She slipped away after surgery, leaving no name, no trace. James, who built a tech empire, feels powerless before this anonymous savior. Her uncalculated kindness pierces the armor he's worn for so long. Years ago, his mother, the only one who loved him unconditionally, died in a highway crash. No one stopped. No one helped. Cars sped past her bloody form, and 20-year-old James stood helpless beside her body, his heart shattered. From that day, he locked away his emotions, convinced the world operated on self-interest and power alone. Money, fame, million-dollar deals, all walls he erected to keep that pain at bay. But this stranger, with her voice certain he would live, has cracked those walls. His obsession with her isn't mere gratitude. She saw him as a human being, not James Harper, the reclusive tech millionaire, nor the name on Forbes. For the first time, he feels small, but not weak. Lying in his hospital bed, James grips the sheets, mind racing with one question. Who is she? Why did she do it? He's unaccustomed to kindness without expectation. In his world, everything has a price. A contract, a deal, a handshake traded for advantage. But this woman's quiet act shattered his rules. A strange emptiness opens in his chest, not from loss, but from an emotion he can't name. It's a yearning, not to repay her, but to understand her, to touch the fragment of soul that dragged him from death's brink. He must find her, not only to thank her, but to know that such kindness truly exists, that the world isn't solely the cold highways where his mother lay. With the steely resolve of a man used to command, James summons his assistant from the hospital bed. The best investigators are hired, ordered to trace the woman's identity. He describes the fragments of memory: black hair, a petite frame, a voice brimming with confidence in his survival. Every blurry detail becomes a lifeline. The team scours hospital security footage, dim hallway frames flickering under fluorescent lights. Eventually, they find her, Nora Bennett, a server at a small diner in Pike Place Market. Her name, simple as her deed, etches itself into James's mind. He doesn't know her, yet a peculiar familiarity stirs within him, as though she's always been part of his life's story, waiting for this moment to appear. When James learns Nora has been located, he does not feel the relief he expected. Instead, a wave of emotion crashes over him: gratitude, curiosity, and fear. Fear that upon meeting her he won't know how to handle such kindness. Fear that she'll shatter everything he believes about the world. He lies staring at the hospital ceiling, fingers brushing the bandage on his chest. Nora didn't just save his life. She planted an unspoken question in his heart. Can he live up to this second chance? The emptiness within him swells, but this time, it isn't hollow. It takes the shape of a woman he's never met, yet who has changed him forever. A week after waking, James Harper steps into the small diner at Pike Place Market. His charcoal gray suit sharply contrasts with the rustic wooden tables. His heart races, not from the strangeness of this place, but from the presence of Nora Bennett, the woman who saved his life. In his hand is a bouquet of white carnations. Their soft petals tremble ever so slightly, and a thick envelope containing enough money to change someone's life. But when his gaze finds Nora, wiping tables with her slender hands, a wave of uncertainty surges through him. The faint scar on his forehead, remnant of the accident, reminds him she pulled him back from death's brink. Nora looks up. Her eyes flicker with recognition, yet there is no surprise or excitement, only steadfast calm. James approaches, sincerity threaded through every word, gratitude he's harbored through those long hospital days in his voice. He offers the flowers and envelope, symbols of his hope to repay her extraordinary act. But Nora, with a gentle shake of her head, pushes the envelope back, her eyes alight with resolve. She needs no money, no reward. His standing here, breathing steadily, is all she ever wanted. Her refusal, so honest, so piercing, strikes James's chest. A man accustomed to solving everything with wealth, million-dollar deals, handshakes traded for advantage, is powerless for the first time. Not because she rejects him, but because she has seen him as a person, not a tech billionaire, not James Harper of the skyline-piercing towers. In that moment, he feels small, not weak, but illuminated. James's stunned silence does not vanish immediately. It clings to him, weaving into every thought as he leaves the diner, bouquet still in hand, the envelope heavy in his coat pocket. He is unused to rejection, even more so to uncalculated kindness. In his world, everything has a price, but Nora shattered that rule, leaving him with a strange emptiness. Not hollow, but brimming with questions about compassion and the true value of a human life. The next day he returns, no flowers, no money, just orders a black coffee and sits quietly in a corner. He wants to understand her, to touch the fragment of soul that resurrected him. Nora, initially guarded, gradually opens up. She tells him about Emily, her sister who died for lack of blood after an accident. Her voice, calm yet laced with sorrow as she recalls double shifts to pay their mother's medical bills, and her dream of becoming a nurse, now a distant echo. James listens without interruption. Each of Nora's stories feels like a hammer striking the wall he built around his heart since his mother's death. He realizes they are alike, both wounded by irreparable loss. Nora's unassuming grief makes him long to stay close to her. One evening, when the diner is quiet, James discovers a small necklace glittering on the wooden floor. A delicate silver chain with a heart-shaped pendant, Emily's keepsake Nora accidentally dropped. He picks it up. His fingers trace its cool surface, feeling the weight of its memory. In the diner's dim light, he carefully fastens the chain, each movement tender, as if afraid to shatter something fragile. He places it on the counter with a note, his neat handwriting reading, "You didn't just save my life, you saved everything I'd lost." That small, heartfelt gesture is James's answer to Nora's kindness. He no longer seeks to buy her affection. He chooses to connect through simplicity, through moments that need no words. Each time he returns, he carries a change within, openness, a willingness to risk his heart again. Nora, with her tired yet warm smile, becomes the small flame that warms the void inside him. She saved his life with blood. She reminded him that in a world of calculation, pure kindness still exists. Dear viewers, take a moment to relax, or grab a glass of water, and stay tuned for the next twist. And let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is. It's always wonderful to see people joining us from all around the globe. Comment 1 if you enjoyed this story so we can bring you even more compelling tales. James Harper sits across from Nora Bennett in the corner of the Pike Place Market Diner. The coffee before him has gone cold, but his heart warms with every story she shares. Their conversation, initially simple pleasantries, has become the seed of a bold idea that has taken root in his mind. Lifeline, a non-profit network using a real-time app to connect rare blood donors with patients on the brink of death. This isn't just a project. It's James's way to atone for the years he spent in isolation, convinced the world ran only on self-interest. He looks at Nora, her eyes lighting up as she speaks of her dream to become a nurse, and realizes she is the missing piece. She has the heart he lacks. Sincerity money cannot buy. He persuades her to join him, voice low but fervent, stressing that he has the resources, but only she can make Lifeline truly work. At first, Nora hesitates, a wave of doubt washing over her. She, a server working double shifts, wonders how she could ever stand alongside a billionaire like James. But when she thinks of Emily, her sister who died for lack of blood, a small flame ignites within her. She agrees on one clear condition: no publicity, no press. Focus only on saving lives. Her decision is not easy. Nora carries the fear of failure, the fear that she cannot shoulder such a grand mission. Yet every time she meets James's steadfast gaze, she feels his unwavering faith, as if he sees in her what she herself has long been afraid to admit, a strength that transcends her past scars. They begin working together, each bringing their own strengths. Nora's dedication shines as she leads volunteer training sessions. Her voice is gentle yet resolute as she teaches rapid response in emergencies. She stands before dozens of unfamiliar faces, hands trembling slightly, but her heart beats with the hope that each volunteer might save someone else, just as she saved James. Meanwhile, James handles funding and technology. Tense meetings with investors do not deter him, because he knows Nora waits on the other side, turning their vision into reality. They complete each other, two halves of a heartbeat, building Lifeline through those first challenging days. One night in Portland, as Lifeline's first mobile blood unit rumbles away from the hospital parking lot under dim lights, Nora and James stand side by side. The trucks, carrying life-saving blood, depart for patients fighting for their lives. Nora, her soul heavy with memories of Emily, gently touches James's shoulder. She feels the weight of his grief over his mother's lonely death on a deserted road. She whispers that now someone is acting to save lives, allowing his mother to rest in peace. For the first time in years, James feels relief, not because of Lifeline's success, but because he no longer bears his loss alone. But the journey is not only warm moments. Nora soon faces a major obstacle: A group of hospitals refuses to join Lifeline, valuing insurance profits over lives. That harsh reality enrages her, but also sparks renewed determination. She confronts a hospital director, her eyes sharp, though her voice trembles with emotion, demanding transparency. James stands behind her, not intervening directly, but quietly supplying evidence, helping her bring the truth to light. That victory, though small, not only cements Lifeline's mission, but shows Nora her own power. She is no longer merely a server scraping by. She is a leader, a change-maker. Watching her courage, James feels his own heart open, not only to Lifeline, but to a future where he and Nora write miracles together. 1 year after Lifeline's launch, San Francisco's Paramount Theater glowed under crystal chandeliers. Hundreds of volunteers and patients sat silently, awaiting the moment to celebrate the milestone of 100 lives saved. James Harper, in a sharp gray suit, stepped to the podium. His heart pounded not at the crowd's gaze, but at the sight of Nora Bennett, the woman who had changed him forever. His eyes swept the room, pausing on Nora, seated modestly in the back row, her slender hands clasped tightly in her lap. He inhaled deeply. His warm voice rang out, recounting the story of a James who once lived in a cold world of contracts and profit, where kindness was a luxury few could afford. But then came a server, with rare blood and a selfless heart. She gave him not only life, but a reason to believe in miracles. He paused, his chest tightening with emotion. He had believed himself invincible, a tech billionaire atop his empire. Yet last year's accident had laid bare his fragility. Nora, that small stranger in the ambulance, had pulled him from darkness not with money or fame, but with pure kindness. He looked at her. Her gaze was gentle yet resolute, reminding him that life's worth is measured not in numbers, but in moments of human connection. With a sudden gesture, James reached toward her, voice soft yet compelling, inviting her onto the stage. Nora, astonished, rose. Her legs trembled as she made her way down the aisle, the spotlight illuminating her like a small flame amid the hushed audience. As Nora stood beside him, time seemed to slow. His heart, long frozen by his mother's death, now beat wildly for her. He knelt, his hand trembling as he opened a velvet box to reveal a sparkling emerald ring, the stone glowing with Nora's own fire. He looked into her eyes, his voice cracked, needing no flourish, only raw honesty. He told her she had not only saved his life, but rescued his very soul, offering him a home in her heart, a beacon to guide him through any darkness. The audience held its breath, emotions swelling in the theater. Nora's tears traced down her cheeks as she knelt before him, slender fingers trembling as they touched his hand. She had once believed herself unworthy, unable to save Emily, unable to change the world. But James, through love and belief, had shown her her true worth. That morning, before arriving at the theater, Nora had received a letter from a little girl whose life had been saved by Lifeline blood. The child's scrawled note, calling Nora her angel, awakened a part of her she had long buried. The letter, small yet heavy with meaning, affirmed that she was more than a server scraping by. She was a bearer of hope. Now, kneeling before James, her past pain, Emily's death, the nights spent blaming herself, melted away, replaced by newfound strength. She whispered, voice trembling but sure, that if she could be his wife, she would spend her life loving and saving the world, just as she had saved him. Her reply simple yet potent, touched every heart in the room. The audience erupted in applause, emotions crashing like waves. Behind them, lifeline banners fluttered. The sparkle of hearts joined in solidarity symbolized the connections James and Nora had forged. James slipped the ring onto her finger, his gaze locked on hers as if the rest of the world had vanished. Nora, tearful but beaming, clasped his hand, feeling warmth spread through their intertwined fingers. That moment was more than a proposal. It was proof that a single act of kindness, however small, can rewrite destiny. They stood there, not a billionaire and a server, but two souls united by scars and hope, ready to kindle new lights together. Lifeline, once a small idea, has spread across America, from bustling hospitals in Miami to tiny clinics in Anchorage, saving hundreds of lives with rare blood donations. Nora Bennett, still the slender-handed server polishing tables at Pike Place Market, now carries a new light within her. She has become the soul of Lifeline, standing before groups of volunteers with a gentle yet unwavering voice, teaching life-saving skills with the same devotion she showed James Harper. With each training session, Nora feels her heart grow lighter, as if the pain of losing her sister Emily is slowly healing with every life she helps save. Yet deep down, a quiet fear remains, that she might not be strong enough to bear this mission, that one day she could fail again as she did when she could not save her sister. James, once lost in the cold towers of skyscrapers and million-dollar contracts, has changed too. He's traded his habit of scorching dark coffee each morning for soothing mint tea, its delicate aroma a constant reminder of Nora. With every sip, he recalls her weary but warm smile, her steadfast eyes when she refused his money, and the heart that pulled him from the darkness. Lifeline is not merely his success. It is proof that he can live differently. Not as a solitary billionaire, but as a man who finds purpose in giving. Yet he carries a secret worry, that his wealth might, however unintentionally, overshadow Nora's pure kindness, the very quality he loves most in her. Together, they work side by side, each bringing their own piece of the puzzle. Nora, with her sincerity, transforms training sessions into moments of genuine connection, where volunteers learn not only skills but to believe in the power of goodness. She stands before them, hands clasped at her chest, voice trembling slightly as she recounts stories of rescued patients, but her eyes shine with hope. Meanwhile, James, in brightly lit boardrooms, negotiates with donors to secure Lifeline's future. He works tirelessly, not for fame, but because he wants Nora to be proud, to prove he deserves this second chance she gave him. Every step they take, no matter how small, is a heartbeat of Lifeline, a promise that no one should die for want of blood, as James's mother and Nora's sister once did. One morning in Denver, Nora and James stand alongside a little girl saved by Lifeline, bathed in the soft glow of the local hospital. The child's bright eyes grip Nora's hand, tiny fingers squeezing hers in gratitude. Together they release a paper lantern into the sky, its warm golden light carrying a handwritten message. Kindness is a flame that never dies. As the lantern ascends, a tear tracks down Nora's cheek, not from sorrow, but because she realizes she has accomplished what once felt impossible, bringing hope to strangers, just as she brought hope to James. James, standing beside her, feels a rare peace. He is no longer the man fleeing his mother's death. He is part of something far greater, a network of compassion. Their story ends with a profound lesson. A single act of kindness, no matter how small, like Nora's drop of blood, can rewrite destiny, not just for one person, but for an entire community. Lifeline proves that when kindness spreads, it can illuminate the darkest corners of the world. And this story is not over. It is an invitation. Each of us can be a flame, a heartbeat in the chain of life. If their journey moved you, believe that your kindness can change everything. Thank you for joining us in Nora and James's story. Please subscribe to 30 Millionaire Stories and ring the bell so you don't miss any more heart-stirring moments. Share your thoughts in the comments. Tell us where and when you're watching from in the US, and pass this story on to friends and family if you found it inspiring.